Today's Wednesday, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. I just came from outside, and I can't tell you how awesome it is to be here with you, being able to do this. All of this is amazing. Now, I wanted to go over something with you this morning that I see a lot of when you look at documents and you look at things having to do with law and your rights. And that is without prejudice. Okay? Without prejudice, without recourse. Without prejudice is a really interesting word that you use, and you use it in equity, especially when you invoke the equity jurisdiction and you go into court and you don't argue. In equity, we don't argue. We don't argue facts, law, jurisdiction, or venue. None of that. That is for people who want to create a public controversy. You don't want to do that. You want to stay away from that in equity. This is not legal advice. If you want legal advice, go hire an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I don't know how to hire an attorney. You need to figure out what's best for you. I know what's best for me. So having said that, without prejudice, without recourse, with prejudice, with recourse, or let's just stick to without prejudice. A lot of people like to use that because it's a good word, but I don't ever see anyone talking about it. Having said that, when you go over the word without prejudice, you have to understand that there's really two main senses of the word. So again, coming out of their book, you need to understand these two words. They're super important because even outside of the equity jurisdiction, it has application. So when you look at it, you're going to look again from their book, Black's Law, Continental Edition, right here. And you buy yourself one of these. These should be, every household should have one of these. Every household. Okay? It's a really sage book. Now, without prejudice, okay, where an offer or admission is made without prejudice, or a motion is denied, or a suit dismissed without prejudice, it is meant as a declaration that no rights or privileges of the party concerned are to be considered as thereby waived or lost, except in so far as may be expressly conceded or decided. Okay? So if they send you a presentment, if you put a complaint against somebody, police department or whatever, and they say, et cetera, we see these flaws in your complaint. You failed to show a cause of action. This case is dismissed without prejudice. It means you can file the suit again. Yes, it means you can file the suit again. When it says dismissed with prejudice, that means you can't file the suit again. They've decided on it and it's been decided. So when you take a look at a dismissal without prejudice allows a new suit to be brought on the same cause of action. The words without prejudice, as used in judgment, ordinarily import the contemplation of further proceedings, and then they appear in an order or decree. It shows that the judicial act is not intended to be res judicata, which means a matter already resolved. So if they send you the presentment back and it says dismissed without prejudice, you can bring it back. Res judicata. Res means thing. Res judicata means judicated. So res judicata. So in here it's saying that the matter is not dismissed res judicata. You can come back and you can refile your complaint and your cookies again. You can start from the beginning again. If your complaint that you filed says with prejudice, then it's a matter already adjudicated, res judicata. That's what this is saying here. So, res judicata of the merits of the controversy. Okay, so now the other sense of the word is when you endorse something. So, let's say, for example, you go sign this is what I recommend. Because with traffic, it's very difficult for you to get around that. Cars come with a VIN number, which means that the corporations that make the car have been contracted with the state. Now they give you a driver's license, you will go ahead and sign it. Now they have jurisdiction over you. They do. I don't care what anyone says. They have jurisdiction over you through what's the contract called? It's called an adhesion contract. They're perfectly legal. For them to do a driver's license, they can do what they do. You need a license to drive. You don't need a license to travel. But it really doesn't matter how you're traveling. But if you're traveling if you're traveling, you have to make sure you're not doing it in connection with anything that's created by them, which a vehicle is created by them. They are contracted with Ford, Chevy, Nissan. The VIN numbers on the car. You're done. You're done. So now you need a license to drive. So the only way I see for you to be able to attack this is through the contract. Okay? The driver's license contract. If you read the adhesion contract, there is some counter to this, but I still say sign it with this. So if you go to sign your driver's license, you go to sign it without prejudice. Anything that you have to deal with and it's under contract, you sign without prejudice. It only gives you partial back your rights. You have to do other things to completely gain your right to travel back. It gets a little complicated, but this is a start. Okay? You sign your driver's license without prejudice. What I recommend is that you really start to become very polite with the person at the DMV. Give them compliments because you live in equity. That is your nature. And as you are understanding that this is how you have to live, you convey eye contact, you smile, you give the person a compliment. These people who work at these places, they might be happy with their lives, but I don't think they're at full happiness working for other people. I don't. So to give them a compliment, you really bring them up. Okay? So as you're doing that, you sign without prejudice because it's your right under 1 U.S. Code 1 to sign the way that you choose. Okay? They can't take that away from you. Okay? No one can. So, having said that, without prejudice, an endorser that's without recourse. As used of purchasers, that means you're buying something, etc. Such language is equivalent to in good faith. To be holder in due course, one must take a bill or note without notice that it is overdue or has been dishonored or of any defense against or claim to it on the part of any person. Okay, let me read that again. As used of purchaser. That means you use it when you purchase something, etc. Such language is equivalent to in good faith, to be a holder in due course. If you're the holder in due course, you can negotiate it. A holder is different than a holder in due course. A holder in due course leaves the matter open. Okay? A holder in due course, one must take a bill or note without notice that it is overdue or has been dishonored, or of any defense against or claim to it on the part of any person. See UCC section sign 3-302 1C, 3-304 3. Also see good faith notice. Okay, so you're basically saying that, you know, we're open here and I'm doing this in good faith. That's basically it. So it has two senses of the word. So when you take a look at that, you understand that that is your ability to not waive any of your rights. It also says it here. Let me see. That's without notice, without prejudice. Excuse me. I went over last without prejudice. That's what I meant to go over it. Okay. So Dorsa dismissed, intended to raise judicata. So when you go over this word, you take a look at how you can use it to sign documents. So those are the two senses of the word. You go over it, go look at it for yourself, do the best you can, keep looking up words, try to understand their language. They have a separate language. It's called legalese. So you have to use these books. You have no choice. Or go out into the middle of nowhere and live by yourself, which I completely and totally respect. I respect people who do that, who go out there and live on their own and go off the grid. You choose to live your own lifestyle, which is amazing. So having said that, this was a short video to go over those two words that you will be using in my course, or not my course, or the information that I put together to teach you how and where this stuff is. Because when you walk into court, you're going to be saying, they're going to ask you your name, you state your name, first, middle, last. And then you say, I am here by special appearance, not a general appearance, and I reserve all my rights with explicit reservation without prejudice. That's the first part of the script that I give you in order for you to understand that that is where you lay the foundation and let them know what it is that you're coming in here to do. You're coming in here to live, perform, and expect for everything to go in equity. Okay? Equity is fairness, disinterestedment, and even-handed dealing, or fairness and impartiality and even-handed dealing. Okay? You have an amazing day. It's a beautiful day outside. Ground yourself to the earth. Focus on a clean, organic diet. Try to put yourself in a position to where you change your lifestyle. Try to stay away from high amounts of refined sugar. Please stay away from that. This is not medical advice. You want medical advice? Go see a doctor. I don't go to doctors for my general health. I don't. I do what I'm telling you now. You do that at your own risk. Okay? Doctors are good for running tests, for giving you understanding, because they know how things interact with each other. So if you want to start using a supplement or something of that nature, and you're already taking the medication, you have to go see a doctor. Okay? They know how things collide. I'm not against the medical system. I'm just against the money-making part of it. You do what's best for you. Have an amazing day.